Was it Bill Clinton in 1992 adopting neoliberalism as the new position for the Democratic Party, basically picking up on Reaganism? Is that what led to a series of Republican presidents and Republican electoral victories? I think so. Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel.
Hi, Tom. I wanted to talk about the neoliberalism issue that you were mentioning earlier. I feel like a lot of times when people on the left say, you know, Democrats and Republicans are becoming all the same, even without naming neoliberalism, I'm pretty sure that's the general sense that they were getting with Clinton and even Obama, as you said.
They both support free trade deals, yeah. Or actually, the corporate trade deals, yeah.
And I'm feeling that Bernie Sanders is the one that sort of shifted that paradigm by, again, maybe not calling them out specifically like you did on the air a little bit ago, but waking a lot of people up to that and having people think about it and research it and understand it a little bit more. And the next question is, how do we fight it? I mean, do we really believe that Buttigieg, Kamala Harris really are the right type of people to help us fight it, help us get rid of it?
Yeah. The one thing that I know about politicians, generally speaking, is that they want to be with the rest of the parade. They want to be where everybody else is. Now, that, you know, you could arguably say that was the case in American politics for the first 200 years of our existence, but over the last 40 years, that has changed. When the Supreme Court legalized bribery of politicians in 76 and 78 with the Buckley and First National Bank decisions, and then doubled down on it with Citizens United, and then more recently with McDonnell, the Virginia governor, who took over $100,000 in bribes from a guy who owned a over-the-counter drug company. It wasn't prescription drugs; they were stuff you could buy in a drugs, over-the-counter health food stores and things. The governor actually endorsed this for this guy in a TV ad and took like $100,000 in bribes for it, and was convicted. You know, Bob McDonnell was convicted in the Virginia court system, and he appealed all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, no, that's fine, you can bribe politicians. So now you've got some politicians, virtually all of the Republicans, who are willing, and probably about half the Democratic Party, who are willing to defy or ignore the desires of the majority of the people that they represent, their constituents, and because they know that the tune that they really have to dance to is the tune of their donors, and that's just not a good thing. It's just not a good thing. Will in Broomfield, Colorado, says you want to disagree with me. How so?
Write this down, Tom, because I agree with you on virtually everything. But you've been talking about the grief model, about Democrats and their candidates, and it's a logical model. It makes sense, but there's one great big flaw in it, which you yourself have brought up in the past, about the whole way it's set up.
Okay.
Republicans cheat. And so when we talk about we have a bad candidate, well, we don't have a bad candidate. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 3 million votes. John Kerry was a strong candidate. They both had great credentials, but they were dealing with opposition candidates who kept screaming at them, have you stopped beating your wife? You yourself have said the Republicans haven't legitimately won a presidential election
since Dwight Eisenhower. Yeah.
Since 1956. And so the whole notion of, we're dealing with grief of a bad candidate, you're not taking into account, or at least not publicly taking into account, the fact that Grandpa was poisoned by Uncle Joe in the MAGA hat.
Yes.
And that affects,
your point is well taken, Will. I can't disagree with it. I guess my counterpoint to that would be that if you look at the huge majorities by which FDR won, and substantial majorities that LBJ won, when he ran for re-election in '64, and the Democrats basically held the House of Representatives from 1933 to 1994 or 1995. That had the Democratic Party not gone neoliberal in '92, I think the majority, if we just got an extra 1%, you would never have had George Bush in the president. It wouldn't have gotten close enough for him to steal. Am I making sense, Will?
My response would be that in 1994, 95, you had Newt Gingrich saying liberals are evil, run with this. That's more cheating. That's more
Yeah.
poisoning grandpa.
Okay, well, good points. Good points all.